Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Inside the control room of the spaceship, Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were looking at the outside through a virtual scene. One gale after another blew everything they touched, as if they were pythons playing among the stars. This is the legendary ancestral god secret region. True Yang Emperor was amazed. The ancestral god secret region is one of the most dangerous secret regions in the universe, Luo Feng said with wonder. It's the same size as a universe country, and dangerous areas are everywhere. Even universe knights can't manage to survive it. There were various levels and areas of the secret regions. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor would certainly research the region, as they had known the coordinates. They were startled to find out that the land of inheritance was located in the ancestral god secret region. As a top-tier secret region filled with hazards and ordinary dangers that could kill a universe knight. In some extremely risky areas, even masters of the universe needed to be careful. Its diameter was 160 million light-years, and it took 200 million years to travel in sublight-year speed. One might need to start the adventure from the birth of the universe to pay the entire region even a cursory inspection. Besides, no one dared to do that. Mysterious, dangerous, off-limits. These were the words that best described the ancestral god secret region. One of the most common things in this secret region is Heichong Whirlpool, said True Yang Emperor. Even a small whirlpool can severely injure a universe knight. And a large one can kill them for good. Look. Those are the Heichong Whirlpools ahead of us. There are more of them at the back, said Luo Feng. True Yang Emperor turned around and saw a whirlpool that was billions of kilometers long running through the stars. If the whirlpools at the front were like pythons, and the one at the back was hundreds of millions of times mightier. True Yang Emperor was stupefied. This is the Heichong Whirlpool at the periphery. Only the one at the outer right is so enormous. We've arrived, Luo Feng said and nodded his head. The spaceship slowed down and stopped. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor flew out. Among the stars were the Heichong Whirlpools chasing each other. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor stood amongst the stars and looked at each other. Where is it? Luo Feng said, frowning. I can't see the land of inheritance. Just wait, True Yang Emperor said. Suddenly, the space twisted and sucked them in like a series of swirls. Teleportation, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor thought of this, and everything became clear. They were still both standing in hollow space, but the scene afar was breathtaking. The colorful river was running, emanating a mystical power that was highly enticing. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor both possessed strong wills and realized something was wrong. Quick enough, they heard a cold voice say. They turned around. An 8-meter-high rock undying stood in the hollow. He was dressed in a fiery armor and was green like an emerald. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor realized he was of the Fei Kang clan, one of the rock creatures. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were shocked, as they hadn't realized anything else was here. It's a universe knight, Luo Feng thought. Only a universe knight can teleport without letting us recognize it. Even I can't sense it, True Yang Emperor thought, surprised. I'm the guide of Ancestral God School, the knight said. Give me the token, humans. Or you'll die with it. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor both felt like they were trapped in a fire, and Luo Feng felt like a boat adrift, lost at sea. The guide of the school? He thought. There were gods, beast gods, deified generals, and prophets within the school, and prophets were the weakest. They were merely as powerful as the weakest universe knights. However, this creature of Fei Kang clan emanated a force that was irresistible. Teacher, is he a general? Luo Feng asked mentally. It should be, True Yang Emperor answered. They took out the tokens anyway. The tokens are rare, the knight said with a smile. No wonder the human race is one of the top 6 races. Sending 2 people with tokens at one time is impressive, indeed. Come with me. The knight was flying with Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor aside. Do you see that? The knight pointed to the dreamy and colorful river. They both nodded. Come and look at it closer. The knight teleported them to beside the river. This is. Luo Feng held his breath. It was no river, on the contrary, it was composed of auroras of 5 different colors. He could still see the river shape from afar, whereas he could only feel its boundlessness standing beside it. Is this the 5-color Aurora Lake? True Yang Emperor asked, thrilled at the idea. You do know something, the knight complimented him. Yes, it is indeed the 5-color Aurora Lake. A lake. Luo Feng was bewildered and trying to look to the end of the river. Of course, it's a lake, the knight explained. You see it as a river only because you're standing on the same level of it. However, if you fly above and overlook it, you'll see a circular lake. This lake has a diameter of 10 light years and is almighty. One aurora can severely injure a universe night, and it's constituted by countless rays of auroras. It's one of the most forceful invaluable treasures in the universe. Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were dazed. Even one aurora was this powerful. This lake is the guarding invaluable treasure of the ancestral god school, the knight continued. Who will dare to trespass with such an invaluable treasure around? One of the most powerful invaluable treasures? Guarding invaluable treasure? True Yang Emperor sighed. No wonder the ancestral god school is the first power of the universe. Luo Feng recalled his star tower instead. There were countless auroras on the surface of the lake, and together, it served as the guarding treasure of the ancestral god school. The spiral of the star tower, which was made up of ceiling stars, was also precious, and together with the heavenly pillar, the star tower was also one of the most forceful invaluable treasures in the universe, according to mountain-sitting guest. What an eye-opener for me to see the 5-color aurora lake, True Yang Emperor said. It's lucky enough for you even to take a look at an invaluable treasure of this level, the knight said, a bit proud. There's another invaluable treasure of this level, Star Tower. That's something that can't be moved by literally anyone, and lots of the powerful ones in the universe still don't know the tower's real power. Star Tower is also one of the most powerful invaluable treasures. True Yang Emperor was shocked. It seems you don't know everything. The knight shook his head. Star Tower is one of the easiest to see but also the most mystical invaluable treasures in the universe. Nobody's been able to figure out the mystery behind it, and nobody can take it away. It's been standing there forever. I'm done talking, and I'll take you to Borhinia Island now, said the knight. With that, he teleported. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor felt a bit dizzy before getting to the edge of the lake. They were only a few hundred meters away from it. Each of the auroras was around 10,000 kilometers long, and its force made Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor shiver. Did you see that? The knight pointed to the deep of the lake. That's the Borhinia Island. What? Inside the lake? They looked in that direction. They could indeed see a blurry island, dim among the auroras. Come in. The knight flew directly inside. Go in. Even though the auroras are forceful? True Yang Emperor couldn't help asking. Rest assured, this is one of the most powerful treasures in the universe, and it won't hurt anyone it recognizes, the knight said. You both have the tokens, and thus, you'll both be fine. True Yang Emperor looked at Luo Feng and said, Student, I'll try first. And then he touched an aurora with his hands. The aurora encircled his arm like running water without attacking him. The knight didn't say anything after seeing this. He had seen how careful and distrustful those airs were. Let's go, True Yang Emperor said. Yes, teacher, Luo Feng said and followed him into the lake. They felt like they were marching in a real lake, and the auroras comforted their bodies. The island became larger and larger as they approached it. This is Borhinia Island, where your beast god heirs will reside on, the knight said just before they reached the island. And this is the margin of the lake. Borhinia Island, with a diameter of millions of kilometers, was far away from the auroras. Shio, shio, shio. The knight, Luo Feng, and True Yang Emperor landed on the island like 3 beams of light. There are so many palaces, said Luo Feng, looking at the palaces on the ground and on the mountain. He could literally feel the force coming from all the palaces in every area. He frowned. There seem to be lots of powerful ones living here. Look at that, the knight said, pointing to the sky. They both looked up. Huh, said Luo Feng. He saw halos enveloping the entire island. The halos kept swelling before they disappeared, and then, a new halo came into being. Each halo surrounded another in concentric circles like the ripples on the water. They were spreading. Born and vanished. Born and vanished. Again and again. Each halo was made of threads of the law, the time law, space, gold, wood, water, fire, soil, wind, thunder, and light. Each law was mixed in each thread, which made the halos complete and perfect. Luo Feng was amazed as he realized the halos were actually manifesting the laws of the universe. You too, the knight shouted. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor came back to reality. This is. True Yang Emperor was rendered speechless. It's incredible. This is the periphery of the laws. The knight looked at the halos ardently. The ancestral God school is the first power of the universe and is responsible for maintaining the operation of the laws of the universe. And it's protected by the laws. Luo Feng was bewildered. Maintaining the operation of the laws of the universe. The secret region of our school has the most special creatures and treasures, the knight said with great confidence. The 5-colored Aurora Lake was also rewarded by the laws of the universe. What we're doing is following the laws, and Ancestral God School is defying the laws of the universe. How overbearing it is, Luo Feng murmured. You don't believe it, said the knight. You'll understand after living here for hundreds of millions of years. The knight glanced at Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor. Hundreds of millions of years. Luo Feng was baffled. Come with me, said the knight. The first thing to do is to build a dwelling place on the island. The knight walked quickly with Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor following him. One step was 1,000 kilometers, and they reached the destination in no time. They could see all forms of palaces and powerful ones of all races while walking on the island. There were billions of races, and all of them were mystical with different shapes and characteristics. Luo Feng could recognize some of the special creatures. How many residents are there on the island? Luo Feng wondered. Other than the island owner, all of the others are the heirs, the knight said. My job is to lead you here, and I'll leave soon. There are a plethora of heirs. You can calculate yourselves. There have been only a few hundred human heirs since the birth of the universe. And when you take into account the entire universe, it's a fair universe, and the tokens were distributed everywhere. There are hundreds of millions of races in the universe, and adding all of them together makes tens of billions of heirs. Tens of billions of heirs. Luo Feng stared at the knight. There are really that many heirs. True Yang Emperor found it hard to believe. It's a vast universe, and humanity is only one of the many races, the knight explained. Only the ancestral gods know how many heirs there are. Of course, there are only 100 million living on the island. 100 million? Luo Feng pondered. What about the others? If an heir dies, the Universe Master will reverse the time to bring back rather the heir than the token. It's too costly to bring back a token, and even a Universe Master is reluctant to pay the price. The knight continued, each of the heirs comes with a token, and the second you step in here, your life and the token are bound. The token will be shattered if you die, and it can never be reused. Many powerful heirs died. That's why there are only 100 million of them now. The knight finished explaining. They walked to the ground beside a river. The knight said, you too will build a palace here. Remember, each palace can be no longer or wider than 1 kilometer. Even those enormous demon races and sky beasts need to shrink to fit the designated space. There are no exceptions. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor nodded. They didn't see any palace that was over 1 square kilometer. Also, you can leave some authenticating objects in the palace to make sure you can God country teleport yourselves here, the knight said. You'll visit the island very often unless you die. If you have soul servants, don't bring them out. They will be destroyed by the lake. Keep them in the palace, as it's your place. Don't ever bring them out. Of course, botanic or metal life forms are the exceptions. We get it. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor followed the instructions carefully. Come with me, the knight said and continued briefing them, as he was the guide. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After a short while, they arrived at the tallest mountain where sat a towering palace that was 1,000 square kilometers. The owner of this island, unlike you heirs, is not restricted. The knight pointed at the towering palace and said, that's the palace of the owner. Let's go. They walked up the mountain. Look up, the knight said, pointing at the sky. They both followed the knight. What is it? Luo Feng saw something inconceivably spectacular. He could see a crack inside the lake, inside which a magnificent and extensive palace was located. There were 8 sub-palaces surrounding the glowing main palace. That is the core of the school, the knight said admiringly. That's the largest palace, which is the Ancestral God Palace, where the ancestral gods live. Although there are 3 ancestral gods, only one of them is sitting here. The 8 palaces around it are the Beast God Palace, where the beast gods reside. And there are around a dozen palaces around each Beast God Palace, which are the guarding Beast God Palaces. Outside the Beast God Palaces, continued the knight, are the locations of 72 lands, only 63 of which are in our view, of course. And the 72 generals are living there. Each of the generals' land is as large as Borhinia Island. There are 3,000 stars on the margin, and those are 3,000 starry worlds, on which live the prophets. All these constitute the core of the ancestral god school. The knight sighed. Other than these center places, there are lots of islands on the five-color Aurora Lake, and there are many sub-members of the school living there. Sub-members? Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor looked at him in shock. Yes. They're candidates of the prophets and deified generals, and powerful heirs of the beast god. The knight couldn't help laughing. Humans, do you really think there's free food available in the universe? Remember, it's a fair universe, and our school is not a charity. We paid a huge price for the inheritance crystals of prophets and the land of inheritance of the generals and the beast gods. You'll certainly have to pay for it. However, continued the knight, the school won't care much about the weak. That's why those who receive the inheritance of prophets and deified generals won't be required to work for the school unless they receive a complete inheritance. However, once one obtains the complete inheritance, like that of deified generals, the entire land of inheritance will crumble. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. He recalled that he had been told something similar in the Demon Note General's land of inheritance, that if anyone received a complete inheritance, the entire land would disintegrate. All the candidates of prophets and deified generals have received the complete inheritances, said the knight. As for those following the path of beast gods, the most powerful ones have reached an extremely supreme level and are close to the complete inheritances. Note this, the school needs to pay a higher price for beast god inheritance, and those who are on the way to triumph will also need to sacrifice more. These are the sub-members. Then what about the guarding beast god palaces? Luo Feng couldn't help asking. Guarding beast gods are the ones who gain the complete beast god inheritance and have become masters of the universe, the knight explained. They didn't become actually beast gods either because there were no vacancies, or they themselves didn't want to inherit the positions in the first place. After all, your power can be significantly improved after inheriting the position, but that's the end of it. Masters of the universe are the greatest and mightiest beings in the universe, no matter where they are, the knight continued. The ancestral god school will respect their will and make them guarding beast gods even if they don't want to inherit the positions. Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor nodded. There was no such thing as a free meal, and everything came at a price. The ancestral god school wouldn't give resources away without being paid back. For those who had enough potential, the school didn't care for returns, whereas for those who could gain a complete inheritance, the school would demand something back. Rest assured. The knight smiled. The ancestral god school is arguably the freest power in the universe, and it has no intention of fighting for other territories. The dangers in the secret region are enough to intimidate other powers. Even if you become the sub-members of the school, you won't feel restricted. The knight shook his head. Of course, it all means nothing if you can't even become a sub-member in the first place, which is difficult to begin with. No matter which path you're following, prophet inheritance, general inheritance, or beast god inheritance, they're all highly demanding. Luo Feng listened carefully and nodded. None of the hundreds of thousands of creatures in the land of Demon Note deified general inheritance managed to get the complete inheritance. However, the land accepted 32 creatures for every 10,081 eras, and the creatures there only tried for 50 million eras, which was a blink of an eye compared to the history of the universe. The owner of Borhinia Island is a guarding beast god. The knight looked at the towering palace. Guarding beast god? Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor followed him. There were quite a few sculptures on that palace. Some were like lizards, some were like roaring apes, and some were like birds. Although there were tens of thousands of sculptures, they could all be classified into 8 categories. Luo Feng understood them to be the images of the beast gods. In front of the palace of the island's owner was an enormous square, which was a section of a mountain. There were 3 flowing springs on the spectacular square, with their water coming seemingly from out of nowhere. However, the ground on the square was not wet at all. The knight, Luo Feng, and True Yang Emperor walked to the springs and looked at the door of the palace. Get inside, the knight said. My job is done here. I hope you can live longer on the island instead of falling, as you won't be able to come back with another token. I bet few races will give you a token twice. Thank you, knight. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor appreciated the knight's instruction. The knight smiled and flew into the auroras like a beam of light. Let's go, student. True Yang Emperor smiled. Sure. Inside sat a human wearing a simple black cape. He had long blue hair and blue engravings. A dimming force was emanating from him, reserved yet terrifying. Luo Feng felt he must be at least a universe knight. A human. Luo Feng was startled. Is he the guarding beast god? Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor exchanged a glance. The guarding beast god was a human. The man stood up, looked at them, and smiled. I didn't expect to see humans here. How wonderful. You guys can stop guessing. I'm only a servant of the island owner instead of a guarding beast god. My job is to guard the palace and message the island owner. A servant. Both Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor missed a heartbeat. A sole slave of a universe knight level? And he was a human. Of course, thought Luo Feng. If I can enslave the barbarian races, then the barbarian races can enslave humans, too. Besides, guarding beast gods are masters of the universe. It's not surprising for them to have a universe knight level slave. Luo Feng could only console himself in this manner. Tru Yang Emperor looked at the black-caped man and said, "We're the new heirs and are here to greet the guarding beast god." The man smiled. "You just wait here. I've already passed the message to the guarding beast god, but he's currently busy. Please be patient." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor gave each other a look. Let's just wait. They could only wait for the guarding beast god. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After half a day of waiting, both Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor were tired out. Luo Feng asked, "When will the guarding beast god arrive?" "Be patient," the man said with another smile. "The issues the guarding beast god is dealing with are much more important, and you guys are not in a rush. According to the rules of the Ancestral God School, it will take the Ancestral God 10 years to show up. If the guarding beast gods know they can't make it in 10 years, other guarding beast gods will take over." 10 years. "It ranges from an instant to 10 years, said the sitting man. "The unluckiest guests I received in the past waited for 3 days shy of 10 years. So, please sit down and be patient." "Just wait." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor sat down without knowing when they could meet the island owner. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After 12 days. Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor sat on the courtyard of the palace with their eyes closed. Suddenly, they felt an almighty force surrounding the palace. They both opened their eyes instantly. It's the guarding beast god. They both stood up, and the knight was already inside the main hall. They heard a high voice from the hall say, "Come in." They both went in, and Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor saw a figure on the throne. It was a special life form in dragon shape. It possessed wings and strange armor on its body and looked down upon them. There were tongues of flames on the armor, which made Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor feel like they were being engulfed in fire, and the special creature was the controller of space. The dragon could kill them with a snap of its fingers. Guarding beast god, Luo Feng thought to himself. It should be following the path of fire, space. "From now on, you're the heirs of Borhinia Island," the guarding beast god said. "First of all, I'll grant you access to the world of glory." 2 mini-quantum computers appeared after it finished talking, and they flew to Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor. "This is the receiver of the virtual world," said the guarding beast god. "The world of glory is the virtual universe of the Ancestral God School, and it's akin to humans' virtual universe. Although it's much smaller, they have similar functions. You'll know when you land on it." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor took the receivers. "I'll also grant you the access to the land of inheritance, the land of treasures, and the land of the secret region," the guarding beast god said. "Did you see the 3 water curtains outside?" Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor nodded. "Water curtains? Weren't those springs?" "That's the portal," the guarding beast god continued. "It's impossible for you to get in without my permission. The one on the left is the portal to the land of inheritance, the one in the middle is to the land of treasures, and the one on the right is to the land of the secret region. 3 water curtains are portals to 3 different places. The land of inheritance is where you accept the beast god inheritance, and you'll be tested how much you understand the laws. In the land of treasures are buried all the valuables left by the beast gods, guarding beast gods, and the powerful ones following the path of beast gods. There are a plethora of valuables there, and the seniors placed lots of barriers, restrictions, and requirements. Only if you satisfy the requirements of the seniors can you take treasures there. Not long ago, one of your humans gained a treasure. As for the land of the secret region, you can go there for adventures. The secret region of the Ancestral God School is the most mysterious secret region in the universe, where reside the most special creatures and the most mystical riches. There are natural and crafted treasures alike. However, it's also the most menacing secret region, and the closer you get to the land of treasures, the more dangers there will be. Even universe knights can be killed, and even masters of the universe can be trapped. Prepare to die if you decide to adventure there. The land of inheritance, the land of treasures, and the land of the secret region, together with the world of glory, are the 4 places you need to be familiar with. Go build a palace first, and then go to the land of inheritance. The guarding beast god looked down on them. Go. Yes, island owner, they said. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor saluted it before exiting. There were hundreds of millions of heirs on the Borhinia island. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor went to the location the knight had given them and started to build a palace. Concentrate, Luo Feng said. He used force of world in his internal world to build a mansion. It was an enormous courtyard that resembled the Jiangnan Garden of ancient China. There were paths made of cobblestones, and all sorts of flowers were planted on the side. At the corner of the courtyards sat a pool of water. The water was the essence of a Jiangnan garden. There was a stone bridge above the water, and pavilions were placed around it. Besides, there were lots of individual bedrooms and living rooms, and in front of some of the rooms were pools where rock gardens could be seen. Although the entire garden was only 1 square kilometer, it was constructed in a mesmerizing way, which was exactly how Luo Feng remembered his hometown. Lots of the gardens had been destroyed during the Grand Nirvana, but some of the rich built the gardens during the base city era. Luo Feng had learned about it before, when he was a student, and he had an extraordinary memory. All he did was memorize the pictures on the history textbooks. Luo Feng used lots of force of world techniques to solidify the garden. Luo Feng pointed to the mountain afar. Get out. Hong. Another private garden appeared. Afar were the undulating hills which merged as one with the rivers, gardens around them. Student, your True Yang Emperor was still building a huge palace while glimpsing at the residence Luo Feng built. Extraordinary. Teacher, you can't actually feel the secret of my hometown by using your godly power. Come inside. Luo Feng smiled and led True Yang Emperor inside. True Yang Emperor had adventured the universe long enough to see quite a lot. There were countless other forms of designs of architecture on the Borhinia island, and they were just as delicate as the one Luo Feng built. However, True Yang Emperor had never seen something like this. True Yang Emperor said with surprise, as walking on the stone bridge, "It's incredible. I feel like it's dozens of times larger than it actually is. There are different scenes of the same pool at different angles." Luo Feng smiled. A single step can shift the scene, and this is the mystery of it. And all the scenes are breathtaking in a unique way based on the visual guide. Can you make me one? True Yang Emperor asked him. How can I not? You've already asked me. Luo Feng made another garden of a slightly different type. The garden he had made for himself was more akin to those during the Ming and Qing dynasties, while the one for his teacher was of the Tang dynasty, which was more majestic. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor went back to the square in front of the palace of the Borhinia island owner. Let's go. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor entered the spring on the left. The moment they touched the spring, they disappeared. The scene changed completely, and before Luo Feng could get a clear sight of his surroundings, he felt a terrifying force. Hong. The force was stronger than anything in Ice Hell, and he felt like dozens of neutron stars on his body, together with lots of other souls. What is this? Luo Feng asked. He could finally see everything clearly, and it was hollow surrounded by black mist around him. There was a huge aerolite floating in the hollow, and a purple-armored powerful one with a wolf head was sitting on it. It belonged to one of the most populous branches of the human race, werewolf. The werewolf was surprised to see Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor. He laughed and said, "You must be Blade River Emperor and True Yang Emperor. I knew you two are coming." "Greetings, Ju Feng Knight." True Yang Emperor saluted him. "Greetings, Ju Feng Knight." Luo Feng bowed to him as well, but he was baffled. Just then, True Yang Emperor started to talk to him in his mind. "Student, Ju Feng Knight is one of the 7-star overlords of the human race, and is an equal of the master of the Heaven Erosion Palace. Rumor has it that he received the complete inheritance of deified generals." Luo Feng was startled. Complete inheritance? An equal of the master of the Heaven Erosion Palace? "This is the land of inheritance of the ancestral god school," said Ju Feng Knight looked at the two of them with a smile. "Naturally, there's a powerful force, which is to suppress the soul seals in the godly bodies. Creatures less powerful than Emperor-level Undying will die under the force, which is why only the Undying can be granted the tokens. After all, talents who can get the tokens are all at least as powerful as the Emperors. Can you see the black mist surrounding us?" Ju Feng Knight pointed around. Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor nodded. It was such a strange district. Neither godly power nor world power could detect anything, and it was surrounded by black mist. Get into the black mist and accept the inheritance, the knight said. You two, separate. Yes, Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor answered respectfully. They flew away in different directions. The second Luo Feng flew into the black mist, he felt a force pressing his body, and even though Luo Feng had a stronger will than most of the universe knights, he couldn't resist it. He stood in the hollow a long time and reached out with the fingers of his right hand. Kai. World power burst out and turned into a lore engraving. The engravings kept bursting out, starting from space and gold. Luo Feng started to perform without control over his own body. Starting from the basis, he manifested all his understanding of the laws. More and more engravings came out as time passed by, and the threads were all twining around each other, painting a beautiful world of the law. Luo Feng only stopped much later. The mystical force left Luo Feng. Luo Feng finally had his mind back. What? Luo Feng was so terrified that his entire body was sweating. He remembered distinctly how he was manipulated by the force to manifest the laws of merging. It's incredible, he stammered. My will is so strong, and there is a tower pearl in my soul to protect it. Even masters of the universe would find it hard to control my mind. However, that mysterious force, Luo Feng finally realized how mighty the ancestral god school was. That's right. It's the land of inheritance. Even those universe knights who are as powerful as the master of the Heaven Erosion Palace or Shi Luo Feng will come here if they don't acquire the complete inheritance. That force will just manipulate everyone else, like what it just did to me. The mysterious force is non-aggressive, but it didn't even give me a chance to resist. What did that come from? As Luo Feng was still pondering its whereabouts, the force arrived again. The third level, Luo Feng heard a pressing voice say. It did not say anything else, but it made Luo Feng realize what the third level meant. The voice was echoing inside Luo Feng's mind, and Luo Feng fell into a hallucination. He was trapped in a bizarre dreamland. Inside the dreamland, Luo Feng was shown the most mystical and intricate secrets of the path of beast gods, and all the merging space laws and gold were instructed in the most detailed way possible. It was like someone pouring all the knowledge inside Luo Feng's brain. It was far more effective than reading 52 chaos tablets or looking at the sculpture of beast gods. After a long time, the force wore off. The black mist kicked Luo Feng out of the dreamland. It's beyond my wildest imaginations. Luo Feng blinked and was inspired. I wish I can have more of this. I've trained myself in ice hell for more than 2,000 years, and I could barely comprehend a tiny bit of the third chapter of Nanshan 7 forms. However, I can now comprehend a lot more after spending only a short time there. I feel like I can actually complete the third chapter if I can be indoctrinated one more time. I must have been taught the whole third chapter, but I can only understand half of it. Luo Feng was anxious. He hadn't felt this way for a long time. It was like dreaming, but he could only remember a small portion of it. After becoming a powerful one, he had never experienced blurry memories. But now, he felt the same way, and all he could remember were fractions of secrets of the third chapter. Don't just stand there, the knight on the aerolite said. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor both looked happily surprised. The land of inheritance was born with the universe, and it was fraught with wonders, the knight said. It was the most important place of the ancestral god school. Every time, it will test how much you have understood the laws. There are 7 levels of beast god inheritance, and if you've completely comprehended the first 2 levels, you'll be bequeathed the 3rd level inheritance, so on and so forth. Ju Feng Knight looked to Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor. How about you two? Which level have you reached? The 3rd level, Luo Feng said. I've learned a lot. The 4th level, True Yang Emperor said with thrill. I feel that I'm having my breakthrough. This video will end here.